Hi everyone, welcome back to Dark Fantasy Therapy, and today we're gonna find out which are the hardest bosses in the very early phase of Elden Ring and what are the tricks and the tips to win against them. So don't forget to subscribe if you want to support the channel, and let's begin. Let's start with the Leonine Misbegotten, the boss of Castle Morn in the Weeping Peninsula. That is an optional area that I strongly suggest you to visit and explore because it's full of catacombs, precious items that many of them you may miss because believe me, they are very hidden. In any case, the boss is this half human, half beast with this crimson mane that is very fast. He can cover the distance, the gap between you and him in matter of half a second, and its movesets are very aggressive, very long, so you have to learn, when to dodge and when to find an opening to attack. In any case, you can summon the NPC Edgar that is linked to the cast of Irina. That is, a good friend, a good buddy. He can distract the beast while you plan to attack it at the back, or if you have a range build with magic or with the bow, you can of course take advantage of this help. It's very, very fast, very aggressive with this great sword that, it can hit very, very hard, especially if you fight against him in the very, very early game of yours. But it's great. It's not that hard compared to all the bosses that you will find during the game. And then he will drop this weapon that is a great sword, part of the legendary armaments of the game, that if you have a strength build, you may consider to use it. So, in the very, very short, be careful of the long, aggressive movesets. Try to keep a distance, and use the summon of Edgar as a distraction, and you will find it an easy way to win against the beast. The first time that you open the doors of Limgrave, the view, the feeling is just amazing. You get lost in this endless panorama, but it's a little less amazing when you find out that the first enemy that you have to deal with is the tree Sentinel. This golden, heavy armored knight on the horse that is a little tougher than the soldiers that you just fight with in the cave. That's why maybe you should just ignore it for the beginning and then just come back later. This huge, because it's bigger than you, soldier, he is vulnerable not to slash damage, so you should focus on standard, strike and pierce. To the elementals, except the lightning, he can be strong, and of course he can deal holy damage, like many early game bosses in this game. Anyway, he will charge you very, very hard, and with a couple of strikes he can terminate you. You can summon a friend to distract it, but at the same time he will at some point just charge you again. There are a couple of tricky attacks, like one that he used the shield to deflect your magic in case you have a magic build, and but I can say that the movesets are quite predictable and not that fast, except the charging, so it's easy to find an opening. Just remember that every side is covered, one from the shield, the back from the legs of the horse that can kick you, and the other side with the halberd. So be very careful, and at the end he will drop this golden halberd that if you have a faith build, it may be very useful in the early game, and very, very big, funny and good looking. It has not been a surprise for many of you, included me, that when you cross the lake of Limgrave, at some point you will be attacked by this giant flying dragon called Agheel. That will be the first dragon that you will fight with in this very long journey, where there will be dungeons completely full of dragons. But I understand that dealing with it for the first time, it may be quite challenging. There are many moves to learn that at the end they are very easy to dodge, to negate, but yet of course, to make many attempts to learn the complete moveset. That will be the same for the entire game. So some flamethrower that then can be some magical, breath. He can fly and use the magical breath, flying and then land upon you. He can turn around trying to hit you with the tail or with its fangs and so on. In any case, it's very funny. I think they are the most funny encounters ever, the one with dragons, and I'm very sorry that at some point they finish. I would not suggest you to fight it on foot. It's possible, definitely it's possible, but it's better to get the horse, you know. Margit, the Fell Omen, is the first big boss that you will fight with in Elden Ring, at least if you follow the path of the Grace without, you know, getting directly to Lurnia of Lakes, bypassing Stormveil Castle. It's not very hard compared to other bosses, but the fact that you met him at the very early, at the very beginning of your journey, and you don't know probably at the beginning that there are all the catacombs or the other dungeons. There is the Weeping Peninsula that you can do first to upgrade your attributes and then go to take Margit, but it's not that hard. Its movesets are quite slow, quite predictable. He doesn't try to cover the distance. The problem is mostly in the second phase, when he started to take some holy weapons, some knives that he can throw at you, a big hammer that can smash on the grounds, and some swords. In this case can be very harmful, and there is why, I mean, this is where most of early game players will fall. But once you learn the moveset, you take a good summon that can distract him. It can be quite easy. You can also go to patches that I mean, I will make a different video about this, but there are already many in YouTube. You can buy the Margit shackle. That is a way to we can say to weaken him in the first phase and not in the second, you know, to get an extra help and to save some potions for the HP, so for your health, the flasks, I mean. And yes, it can be hard, but once you learn the moveset, it's very funny and easy to win. So yeah, have fun, and remember to please do all the things before all the catacombs, the other little bosses, and then you can get back to Margit. Let's be honest, the hardest boss that you will fight with in Limgrave, or in general in the very early Elden Ring, is the Crucible Knight. The first one in the Agheel, that is in the north of the northwest of Limgrave, and it's an eternal prison. That is good because you will not lose your runes. I mean, it's easy to catch them back before starting the fight again, because you have to enter the prison every time. This big soldier is very armored and quite immune to any kind of damage, both physical and elemental, so it has no weaknesses. The only one is that if you're good at parrying, and if you learn all the timing of its attacks, and in that case you can parry him multiple times and you know, dealing to him some critical hits that you know, that will be worthy in that case. But whatever other strategy, if you have a magical build, he will you know, protect himself with the shield from your magical attacks, from your bow, or if you have an aggressive dexterity both or strength build, in that case you can try to attack him every time he finish one of its attack. That it may not be that hard, but at the same time it's very long, because you need a lot of hits to deal you know, certain amount of damage to him. And in the second phase he gets some wings, he gets a long tail that you have to learn how to parry all these attacks, and in that way you may have a chance to win easily.